Alright, so I'm calling this routine the ham cake. I'm going to do my favourite ballistic stretches for hamstrings and finish off with the ballistic stretching for pancake position as well. Starting off with a warm-up, doing 10 leg raises to the side, 10 leg raises forwards. Going to do the same on the opposite side and repeat 2 times. Opposite leg now. Okay, and back in almost around for set 2 now. Last set going forwards here on my right leg. Okay, next up I'm coming into some standing straddle forward folds. I'm flipping myself around this time. I want my feet to kind of feel comfortable to move out. My focus here on these ones is on turning the hips over. I could be getting my shoulders much lower, but I don't really care. I just want to focus on that hip joint. So again, use the same analogy that I always use. Imagine that your hips are a glass of water and you're trying to tip it out the front. And I'm just going to go through, it's almost like a kind of a cat-cow pose basically, but in the standing straddle position. And I really like this as a warm-up for the adductors, particularly with my tight adductors. This is a nice way to ease into things for me. Really sort of overemphasize that arch in the lower back, so we need to be able to stick legs out into splits. Again, same thing, just tilt in the hips, getting used to that movement, pushing them as far as they can go. And releasing. We're going to do one more kind of similar this time. This time I'm going to do it with my feet on the yoga mat, stop them slipping apart. Kind of got a nice little bit of range warmed up there. And this time I'm going to focus a little bit more on letting my shoulders drop towards the floor and letting the weight kind of carry me through. Again, I'm enjoying being able to hold these positions with slightly better back form than I was in the first couple of weeks. So it's all feeling quite nice so far, definitely loosening up around the hips. Still a lot of work to go to get anywhere near the kind of range that I want to be at, and it's definitely still an area that I need to warm up before pushing too far. But it's definitely easier to get into these positions, and I can see that the bend is coming from lower in the hips, which is nice. I think that's the hamstring results beginning to pay dividends. So yeah, here we go, definitely coming much further down here than I was able to before. I think if I use bricks I'm just about able to get my elbows to touch there, and that is with even weight through legs. So yeah, very happy with how that's looking. Big progress for me. Then just sort of rocking back and forwards, warming these things up, testing range, seeing what's comfortable. Now just to take a bit more weight on the hands, doing these reach throughs, just aiming to go back and kind of touch the wall, just pulsing a little bit. I'm not quite touching all the way through to the wall, but just supporting my own weight in this position. When you do this you have to shift your weight backwards a little bit through the heels, just changes where the stretch is. Quite a satisfying one. And using the bricks to get out. Okay, now we're going to come nice and early into the single leg hamstring stretches. These used to be kind of the pinnacle of the stretching that I would do. I would save them until last, but now that I've sort of spent a few weeks getting my muscles used to the sensation of stretching, I'm feeling fairly comfortable to have these in early on in the routine and then do more ballistic stretching as we go on. And that's really kind of the aims now, is to limit the static stretching and use it slightly earlier in the routines and push for the ballistics at the end. So here again I'm focusing on just trying to tighten the angle at the hip. I don't care about bringing my chest down just yet. For this first minute, just holding here, trying to turn my hips over, and also I'm working on kind of pulling that left femur back into the hip to keep my hips nice and square. So happy with how that's looking. Nice bit of tension, good straight leg. Okay, as I'm starting to warm into it, you can move the bricks a little bit further away, pop them down onto their lower edge. Again, all of these minutes, here we go, this is now what I'm calling the second minute. I was counting in my head, so it's probably not super accurate. Now letting the head hang down, taking the stretch the whole way through the spine. I'm happy that as I'm watching this, my hands are moving forward nicely. I'm keeping my hands on the bricks, so my hands are going forwards rather than down. This just stops me overcompensating. There you go, I've just put my hands down to the floor. You can can see my hump kind of increases when I do that. Try and keeping the hands on the bricks a little bit nicer. So there we go. And then once we're done, just holding that little lunge position for a second, just to work on the hip flex from the other side. May as well get some done while we're here. Now we can have time to switch over and do that on the opposite leg. Okay, again starting in a nice high position, kind of warm into this stretch, not trying to get low early. Just working to twist the hips over, keep them nice and straight, keep the toes straight. My feet when I do this always want to pop out to the sides, so I'm working hard to keep them straight through this stretch so I don't end up just weak on the outside of my hamstring and tight on the inside. Again, I'm happy with the kind of pelvic tilt I'm getting today. You can see from my waistline that it's just running at a slightly tighter angle than the top of my thigh, so that's nice, getting a little bit extra rotation. Tilt. Okay, once you're comfortable again, enjoying this sort of minute to 90 seconds, sinking down into it. Again, I've sort of got this natural hump in my back, can't reiterate this enough. I am working hard to keep my chest up even though it doesn't necessarily look like it. And now for the second minute, I'm going to let that head hang and add some additional weight to the stretch and let it go down the back. Again, I was really happy with both of these stretches here, how far forwards my hands are, really getting beyond the end of that foot there. I think making some really nice progress in the hamstrings over the last week or so since I've been doing these ballistic stretches. But this week generally has been nice. I'm feeling a bit less stiff in between stretches, and feeling like I'm reaping the rewards of the tough weeks that I had before. So I'm kind of avoiding that muscle soreness. Kind of worked my way through it. Okay, didn't hold the lunge on that side for some reason. Something else came up. I imagine that's dealing with Kingsley. Can't honestly remember though, this was yesterday. My memory is awful. Okay, so just enjoy a little minute longer on the break after that stretch. It was a bit intense. So take your time. Getting a chair out for this next part, and we're going to do raised leg hamstring stretches on the chair. This is the one where we put the brick on top of the thigh and then squeeze it down using our abs, and then sort of almost try and lift the foot at the opposite end as if we're pulling our nose towards the toe. Today what I'm doing for this one is a 10-second hold. I'm doing 3 sets. First set is a 10-second hold squeezing the bricks, then I'm removing the brick and reaching for 20 seconds. Second set, doing a 20-second hold and reaching for 20 seconds. Third, I'm doing a 30-second hold and then reaching for 20. So I'm upping all of my times on this squeeze of the brick here. There we go, pulling into it. This really is one of my favourites. It hurts like hell, but I'm sure that this is where the benefit is really coming. So that was my 10-second hold, hand in front now for 20. Okay, going to repeat that now on the opposite leg. I'm trying to keep my pace up a little bit more today between these stretches. Conscious that sometimes when I rest in between sets it probably take a little bit too long. So there we go, there's that nice squeeze, pushing the brick down using my abs, almost lifting the foot up. Again, it looks like I'm sort of relaxing there. I'm not. I'm really pulling on that. Okay, and there's my forward reach. Holding for 20 seconds again. And we're done. Okay, so the next set we're extending the first part. The brick squeeze is now doubled to 20 seconds, the reach stays the same at 20 seconds. Back to the first side now, 20-second hold starting now. What I like about this one is you can kind of pull backwards on the foot as well, which sort of pushes the whole leg back into the hip joint, and that's a very satisfying feeling for me. I enjoy that a lot. Hurts, but it's good. Okay, pulling into it again, 20-second hold, really squeezing the abs into the thigh, pushing on both sides of that brick. And out we come, second 20. See the hands are maybe an inch further forward than they were on the first set there, which is great. Alright, one set to go. This time 30-second hold of the brick, squeeze of the brick, 20-second reach. reach on that side, just looking a little bit shorter this time. Maybe wimped out a little bit after holding that for 30 seconds. Last one now to go. I'm really working on not moving from this spot in between sets to try and keep myself concentrated. Forward fold is looking there, really getting that from lower down and back these days, which is great. That squeeze. Getting a long way over the front of that one now. Hands pushing nice and far. And out we come. Alright, quite a daunting routine this one. There is a lot of ballistic going on, a lot of hard work. About 30 minutes remaining. Just going to come into this sort of a rest move almost in the middle. We're going to do a wall assisted butterfly. Again, I'm really enjoying these ones for opening up the front of the hips and just not working to sit in butterfly. So getting hips all the way into the wall, just like I did the other day. Feet together. I'm going to grab one of my bricks and just throw it over the back of my head. Just to give us that support. Yep. There we go. Get it into place. And then sitting straight and letting gravity do the work for us. Again, this should be a nice kind of relaxing one, so keep the weight on the knees if you want for a little while, but then also just enjoy the little bit of extra room we've created there. I can't remember what I was watching while this was on. I had the TV turned on, but there was something that was amusing me throughout this. So if I stop at all and look at that way, it's because there's a screen and I'm laughing at it. So I was aiming to hold this for about 2 minutes. I think perhaps I overdid it ever so slightly. I was just enjoying the break from the ballistics. If you want to finish this a little bit shorter or speed up the routine, you could always fire through this butterfly a little bit quicker. Equally, if your adductors are more mobile than mine, this is probably less essential. You'll be able to sit straight into the pancake positions later on a bit easier. So, personal preference on this one. Okay, going to get out my little stool again that I often use. We're now going to do the standing hamstring stretches again. This time, rather than with the brick though, we're doing the elbow to toe hamstring pulses. We're going to switch elbows as well. And I can't remember if I did 2 or 3 sets of this, but time will tell. I think it was possibly only 2, but we'll see. Again, I'm happy with the progression I got on this one. I was getting within sort of a hand's width of my big toe. I feel like probably it's only a week or 2 until that elbow is touching the toe, if my current rate of progress remains consistent. Having already done those squeezes of the hamstrings earlier, I was very loose for this, but also dealing with the pain a little bit, so some of the form on here goes a little bit, but happy with how we're looking. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Now you can see there one hand was sort of obscuring the other. This side I find very unbalanced for some reason. The other side I'm able to put my hand there. It's nice to have something to aim for. I definitely think there's a benefit in having a fist or something to aim for if you can't touch your toe. And that sort of feedback just allows you to push a little bit further. If you're not quite there, I wonder whether perhaps using a brick might be a possibility, or I don't know, something else maybe. I mean, the hand works fine on one side, so hopefully once I'm just a bit more used to standing in this position, my balance will sort of correct itself and I'll be able to use my hand both ways. Until then, I think I'll just persist and try the best. So hopefully only a week or 2 longer until that elbow really should be aiming for the toe. So we're doing this on both elbows, same elbow, same foot, opposite elbow to opposite foot. There we go, there's the foot. Starting with a sort of shaka position, then coming to the closed fist with the little finger out, then coming to the closed fist all the way down on the toe. And that's really nice, getting some good movement there. Happy with how that's going. Oosh, I think I was squeezing to see if I was reaching the toe, still a few inches away there, mate. Got a bit more to go. Wishful thinking. And now coming on the opposite side. Definitely this opposite elbow to opposite toe is something that's quite new. I didn't do this before, but you do feel it stretching a completely different area of the hamstring, so I would say it's definitely worth sticking into the routines every now and then. I certainly don't want to put all this effort into the stretching and end up with imbalances. That would be extremely irritating. So. Okay, coming back in with the other foot this time. Same thing again, going to start with that fist right there. This side's looking really good. I'm stoked with how that's going. So 20 pulses on the opposite elbow again. I think this was when I was weighing up whether or not to do a third set. I can't remember what the outcome was. Oh, it looks like I went for it. Good for me. It was definitely beginning to tighten up by this point. It was getting a little bit harder to reach that fist. But happy to see that the movement is coming more from the hips in this final set. I can see that pelvic tilt happening slightly better, less of just the back moving down, which is nice. Little breather there before coming in with his opposite elbow. It really is that. Ooh, I went hard on that first one. I don't think I'm going to keep that up, am I? There we go. Yeah, the first one managed to get that elbow quite low, but it was maybe just pushing myself a little bit far. Again, I was trying to sort of do that without the other arm there to support, but it looks like I do still need it. Getting quite close there at the end though, which is nice. Okay, so we got that out of the way now. Moving on. I'm trying to remember what this. I think we did. I think I did pancakes and frogs. I can't remember which way round I did them. And if I remember correctly, I was meaning to do 2 of each. Although perhaps we'll find out if that is what I did. So often I come in with a plan and then end up changing it. But that is intuitive training. Gotta listen to the body. If it doesn't feel right, don't do it. So yeah, I'm using the brick again in the same way that I did with the butterflies. Just to kind of push the back forwards, make this position nice and easy to sit into. And again, this is just kind of one of those little resting positions that I'm using. I know that this position takes me a little while to warm into, so I'm going to superset this almost by going straight from this into a frog. And I intended to do that 2 times round. I can't honestly remember whether I did. I hope I did. We will find out. frog is a tricky position for me at the beginning. I try and let the knees sink out a bit, hold it for a good bit of time. Again, I like to use the wall and kind of walk my feet along it a little bit, which is great for me. Rest my chest on those bricks, as I mean both hands are available to help me widen these out a little bit. Yeah, so after the frog, coming back into that pancake position. By the wall, a little bit stiff now, coming towards the latter stages of the routine. Really working to get them out there. Popping that brick back behind to keep myself supported and push forwards. Again, it's a really interesting feeling. Someone who's never been able to sort of sit in this position and relax with my hands on the floor without my back bending. It's really interesting to just sit in that position and go, oh my goodness, this is comfortable. Very much hope that one day I'm able to just sit in that position with no worries at all. Okay, and coming out of that position, coming through close to the end of the routine now. I think maybe I missed out one of my frogs here. I intended to do a second frog and I don't think I did. So now that I'm going into this pancake position where I'm just reaching forwards as far as I can, I propped my hips up just to allow gravity to kind of give me that helping hand that I need. So once I'm finally in that position, I'm going to do the reaching ballistic pancake stretches that I've done before, where I'm basically reaching 10 times to each side and then reaching 5 times down the front. Now I cannot remember how many sets I did again here. I think I probably did about 6, which is quite good after everything else. I want to get to be able to do sort of 100 of these quite comfortably and even more. But again, I think it takes so much time for me to warm up to be in a state to actually do the stretch that I'm not quite there yet. When this can become pretty much a whole stretch on its own, I'll be very happy. Okay, every time I'm doing it, I'm just sort of adjusting, trying to pull that leg a little bit further over, make the most moves that I can. Okay, again, really happy with the tilt I'm getting at the hips today. Definite improvements there. I could feel it as I was doing this. Also very beneficial for me to be just up on those bricks. That elevated position really helps just gravity kind of kick in a little bit and allow you to push forward with a little bit less effort. What I'm also trying to do here as I'm reaching is not just reach with the corresponding hand. I'm trying to reach with the opposite hand, so right hand to left foot, left hand to right foot. This just creates a little bit more rotation in the hips, makes it a little bit tougher, but felt felt good, feels beneficial, the same way that the opposite elbow to toe is beneficial with the reaches. Alright, now this is just going to continue basically until the end. If you can get all the way to 100, if you're comfortable to do that, then by all means do it. I think I cut this a little bit short. I'm running out of time on the recording now, so I'm going to leave you to finish off the routine with just the video.